The statement, "we suffer more often in imagination than in reality," captures the idea that many of our fears and anxieties are rooted in our imagination and anticipation of negative outcomes, rather than the actual experiences we face. It suggests that our minds tend to magnify potential difficulties or hardships, causing us to suffer unnecessarily. When we imagine the worst-case scenarios or dwell on negative possibilities, we create a mental landscape that is often far more distressing than the reality we ultimately encounter. Our imagination has the power to conjure up vivid and intense emotional responses, and this amplification of suffering can lead to unnecessary stress, anxiety, and unhappiness. Consider, for example, the fear of public speaking. Many people experience a great deal of anxiety when faced with the prospect of addressing a large audience. However, the experience of giving a speech may not be as terrifying or painful as anticipated. The imagination may conjure up images of stumbling over words, forgetting key points, or facing ridicule from the audience. These mental projections intensify the suffering before the actual event, but in reality, the experience may be less traumatic than imagined. Similarly, worries about the future often cause us more distress than the events themselves. We might fear failure, rejection, or loss, and these fears can consume our thoughts and emotions. However, when we face those situations, we often find that our imagination blew things out of proportion. The anticipation of suffering can be far more agonizing than the experience itself. Moreover, dwelling on past regrets or traumatic experiences can also contribute to unnecessary suffering. Our minds tend to replay negative events, imagine alternative outcomes, or relive the pain. This rumination can keep us trapped in a cycle of suffering, preventing us from fully moving forward and finding peace. Recognizing the power of our imagination and its tendency to amplify suffering is a crucial step in managing our emotions and finding greater contentment. By cultivating mindfulness and being present in the current moment, we can begin to break free from the grip of imagined suffering. This allows us to approach challenges with a clearer perspective, reducing unnecessary anxiety and enabling us to navigate life's ups and downs more effectively. In conclusion, the statement, "we suffer more often in imagination than in reality," emphasizes the impact of our thoughts, fears, and worries on our well-being. While genuine suffering and hardship are part of life, many of our negative experiences are intensified by our imagination. By acknowledging this tendency and consciously shifting our focus to the present moment, we can alleviate unnecessary suffering and find greater peace and happiness in our lives.